Today, we're looking at something pretty revolutionary, actually.
We really are.
It's a curriculum, a course designed to fundamentally change how students tackle, well, one of the most stressful hurdles in their academic lives, the SAT.
Yeah, that pressure is immense.
So we're diving deep into this advanced course structure that leverages generative AI,
Yeah.
tools like ChatGPT, but not just for, homework help.
No, this is way beyond that.
Right. It's about creating a whole new systematic mastery plan for the test.
It really is a deep dive into, I guess, structured ambition. It's about moving past the sort of, wow, look what AI can do phase,
Uh-huh.
and actually integrating it thoughtfully into a really high-stakes process. The whole philosophy isn't just, practice harder.
Grind it out.
Exactly. It's practice smarter. Leveraging prompt engineering for results you can actually measure.
Mm.
I think we need to frame this properly. Maybe read the core mission statement from the course description itself. It really sets the stage.
Good idea. Lay it on us.
Okay, it says the goal is to, quote, transform your SAT preparation from scattered practice into a systematic AI-powered mastery system.
Mm.
And here's the kicker. The promise of a, quote, 100, 200-point score boost.
Wow. Okay, 100 to 200 points. That's
Yeah.
not just a little bump.
No, that's transformative.
That's potentially life-changing for a college application. And what strikes me immediately is that the course seems to get you can't just jump into the tech. You need a foundation first.
Absolutely.
It starts with weeks 1-2, foundational skills and diagnosis.
And that's exactly where we need to focus today. Our mission for this segment is really to pull apart and analyze Module 1,
Hmm.
Introduction to AI and SAT Prep and Ethical Use.
The starting point.
The absolute starting point. It's a prerequisite for everything else.
Mm.
We need to really understand the role AI can play, the huge benefits, sure, but also the critical limitations, and maybe most importantly,
The ethics?
the ethics, establishing those non-negotiable guidelines for using AI responsibly.
Mm.
Making sure it's a supportive tool, augmenting learning, not replacing it.
Okay, let's dig into Module 1 then. The foundation and the framework. All right, so let's unpack this shift, because
Wow.
for decades, SAT prep meant what? Buying that huge 1,000-page textbook?
Oh yeah, the doorstop?
Right. Following its rigid chapters, maybe getting a local tutor if you were lucky. It was very much one size fits all.
Totally. And success often felt like it just came down to raw hours logged.
Mm.
Sheer brute force, not necessarily, efficiency.
That's the perfect context, because this course is essentially saying generative AI, these large language models, LLMs, they're kind of dismantling that old structure.
They really are.
Mhm.
Because they can process just incredible amounts of data, the entire SAT curriculum and the student's specific performance almost instantly.
Right.
So the real paradigm shift isn't just using a new tool. It's evolving prep from that old generalized model
Uh-huh.
to something fundamentally smarter, highly personalized, and frankly, dramatically more efficient. It's using that computational power plus smart prompt engineering to beat the old inefficiencies of just studying randomly.
Okay, so if the tech is the engine and the prompts are the fuel, how does that actually translate into real-world efficiency for a stressed-out high school kid? What's benefit number one?
It starts with the most basic need for managing time: personalized study plans.
Okay.
Now, traditional tutoring, yeah, it can offer some personalization, but think about the hours of human analysis, manual scoring.
Right, someone has to grade everything, spot the pattern.
Exactly. AI does this diagnosis at scale and with, well, incredible granularity. It doesn't
Yeah.
just say, oh, you're weak in math.
It drills down much further.
Much, much further. The source gives this really great concrete example. Let's say you take a diagnostic test. The AI isn't just looking at the overall score.
No.
It's analyzing every single data point within that test. If it sees you consistently making mistakes on, say, geometry problems about parallel lines cut by a transversal,
Okay, super specific.
hyper-specific,
Mm.
that becomes a flag.
Yeah.
So the plan doesn't just say, review geometry.
Mm-hmm.
It says, spend the next 2 hours drilling down on transversal properties and linear systems. Precisely. Or maybe the system spots a recurring witness in algebraic word problems involving complex ratios.
Okay.
The personalized study plan immediately pivots your focus heavily onto that specific skill, that high-leverage area.
Which means every minute studying is theoretically more impactful.
Much higher return on investment. You're not wasting time reviewing, calculus concepts you've already mastered, when your real problem is basic proportions hidden in tricky wording.
That saves so much energy and time, which, let's be honest, are gold for high school students. Okay, moving on. Benefit 2 listed really tackles that lag in traditional learning. Instant feedback and real-time analysis.
Oh, this is huge. Delayed review.
Hmm.
It's just one of the biggest killers of comprehension.
Totally. I remember that frustration, waiting days for a teacher or tutor to grade something.
Right. By the time you get it back, the specific thinking, that unique mental pathway that led you to the wrong answer, it's gone. It's been replaced by other stuff.
The connection's broken. And if you can't remember why you picked B instead of C, the correction just feels abstract, doesn't stick.
That is the critical difference AI offers. Immediacy.
Yeah.
You try a practice question, maybe you get it wrong. Boom. The tool provides instant, detailed, specific explanations.
Right then and there.
It gives you those step-by-step logical breakdowns in the moment, when your brain is actually primed to absorb the correction, to sort of
Yeah.
rewire that flawed thinking.
So you nip the mistake in the bud before it becomes a habit.
Exactly. It prevents that wrong pattern from setting in.
That real-time, personalized teaching, it turns a static practice test into something dynamic. You're not just testing what you know, you're actively learning through immediate correction.
And that connects perfectly to the third key benefit, which is
Yeah.
really interesting because it links directly to how the official test works: adaptive and efficient practice.
Okay, adaptive. This is where the AI starts feeling less like a book and more like, I don't know, a smart coach.
A dynamic sparring partner, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just feeding you a fixed list of questions.
Yeah. How does that work then?
Well, it's constantly calculating your proficiency level. In real time, let's say you master a specific skill, like quadratic equations.
Okay.
The AI immediately adjusts. It starts giving you harder problems involving quadratics, maybe mixed with other concepts, to keep pushing you.
And if you struggle?
If you struggle, it dials back. It might give you some slightly easier foundational questions to scaffold your understanding, rebuild that base before moving you forward again.
So it keeps you in that sweet spot, challenging enough so you don't get bored or plateau,
Right?
but not so hard that you just get completely overwhelmed and give up.
Exactly. Maximum efficiency. But here's the really clever part the source highlights. This mirrors the actual structure of the official digital SAT.
Because the digital test itself is adaptive, right? Module 1 performance affects Module 2 difficulty.
Precisely. So by practicing in an adaptive AI environment, you're not just learning the math or the grammar rules, you're training your brain, your timing, your strategy for the specific format of the real test.
That's preparing for the content and the medium at the same time.
It's synergistic. And think about the confidence boost. If you've already wrestled with an adaptive system in practice, the real thing feels less intimidating, more familiar.
Yeah, that makes sense. Reduces test day anxiety, probably. Okay, before we get into the crucial risks and limitations, because we definitely need to talk about those,
Absolutely.
let's quickly map out the tools. What's actually in this AI prep toolbox?
It's really an ecosystem. You've got your widely accessible, often free tools like ChatGPT, great for generating custom practice scenarios, getting essay feedback, asking for deep explanations of concepts.
Workhorse?
Kind of, yeah. Then you have Khan Academy. And this is key because Khan Academy is an official College Board partner.
Right, that's important.
It means their AI-powered practice is built around official material structures, official question types. It's aligned.
So those are foundational, but the course seems to really stress using the official simulator.
Oh, non-negotiable. You have to use the Blue Book app. This is the College Board's official platform for taking full-length, digital adaptive practice tests.
And it's not just about the questions, is it? It's the whole environment.
Exactly. It's critical because it perfectly simulates the test day experience. The look, the feel, the functionality.
Including things like the built-in calculator.
Yes. Students need to master that specific digital calculator, know its quirks. It also has the exact timer, forcing that real-time pace management.
And the tool for marking questions to come back to.
That too. A key strategy. Ignoring Blue Book means you're walking into the test unfamiliar with the actual operational environment. That's a huge disadvantage.
Okay. And beyond the free and official tools, it mentions some specialized platforms.
Right, things like Magoosh, Revision Dojo, LearnQ.ai. These often offer more sophisticated dashboards, maybe more detailed analytics, personalized score predictors.
Deeper dives into the data.
Yeah, using more complex predictive models. They might give you insights into your pacing on specific question types or track confidence metrics. So it's a whole suite of tools, and the student needs to be smart about using the right tool for the right job. And that range of tools brings us right to the necessary pivot point. Because Module 1 is adamant. All this power, this potential advantage, it comes with an equally massive responsibility.
Yeah, you can't just unleash this stuff without understanding the downsides.
Exactly. Before you even think about prompt engineering, the course insists you grasp the core risks and limitations. Because ultimately, the responsibility for everything the AI helps produce, it rests 100% with the student.
This feels like the philosophical anchor. The tools are powerful, yes, but the user needs maturity. We have to talk about this concept of the human in the loop.
That's the core idea. You, the student,
Mm.
are the human in the loop. You're the final judge, the critic, the person actually doing the learning and the work.
So if you just use the AI to, avoid thinking.
You've already failed. The AI is a calculation engine. It's brilliant at patterns and probabilities, but it has no actual understanding, no common sense, no judgment. It can't tell truth from a convincing fabrication.
Which leads us straight into the first and maybe most talked about risk, hallucinations, or as the source calls them, confabulations.
Yeah, and I like how clearly it's defined. AI producing incorrect but plausible sounding facts.
Right. It's not the dumb mistake that gets you, it's the lie that sounds true.
That subtlety is the real danger. These aren't just typos. They're sophisticated, factually wrong statements woven into otherwise decent-looking text. The SAT prep example in the source really brings this home for reading passages.
What was that example again?
Okay, so imagine you ask the AI, generate a history passage about the Pony Express for reading practice.
Seems reasonable.
And the AI delivers a beautifully written, authentic-sounding passage. But buried inside, it invents some historically inaccurate detail. Maybe it mentions a specific fancy type of saddle that actually wasn't invented until 20 years after the Pony Express ended.
Okay, and a student just trying to answer questions about, say, the main idea or the author's tone.
Exactly, focusing on the typical SAT reading skills.
They'd probably just skim right over that factual error. They'd absorb it.
Absorb it as truth. And now that false fact is polluting their actual knowledge base. And this isn't just theoretical. The source cites research.
Oh.
Yeah, research specifically on AI generating SAT-style questions. It found that a baseline model could hallucinate, could make up facts, up to 45% of the time depending on the prompts.
Wait. 45%, almost half the time.
Almost half.
That's staggering. How can you trust it at all then? Doesn't that just undermine the whole thing? If the error rate for plausible lies is that high.
Well, it should undermine blind trust. That's precisely the point of Module 1.
Ah, okay.
That 45% figure is meant to be a wake-up call. It forces you, the student, into active engagement. It hammers home the absolute rule: always verify information with reliable sources, especially factual claims. The AI generates, you verify, period.
That statistic alone really justifies this whole ethics module. Okay, moving on. The second core risk, bias. This feels maybe more subtle than just getting a fact wrong.
It often is more subtle, yeah. And it comes directly from the training data. These LLMs learn by reading billions of pages of text from the internet.
Which is full of, well, human messiness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Full of our biases.
Yeah.
About culture, gender, race, politics, socioeconomic status, you name it. If the training data has biases baked in, the AI's output will reflect those biases, often in ways that reinforce stereotypes without explicitly stating them.
The SAT prep example used for this one was pretty concerning. It dealt with grading essays, right? Subjective judgment.
It really highlights the danger of letting AI make qualitative calls without oversight. The experiment basically found an AI gave a lower grade to an essay mentioning rap music,
Okay.
compared to an identical essay, same structure, same arguments, but citing classical music instead.
Wow. So the only difference was the cultural reference point.
And the AI docked points. That's algorithmic cultural bias in action, right there in the academic context.
Yeah. And think about the implications for SAT prep. A student asks the AI to critique their essay, and maybe the AI subtly nudges them towards using more traditional or universally accepted examples.
Thereby guiding them, maybe unintentionally, towards more stereotypically privileged or academic reference points. It's a quiet skewing of perspective.
So the AI might generate biased reading passages or suggest biased essay topics, or even evaluate student writing through a biased lens if you're not careful.
Absolutely. You have to constantly run your own internal bias detector. And remember, the AI isn't neutral. It's a mirror.
A mirror reflecting its data. Okay, third risk. This one's more practical. Data privacy.
Yeah, simple but critical. You need to understand, when you type stuff into many chatbots, especially free ones, that input data, it can be used to train the model further.
So it's not just vanishing into the ether.
No, it potentially gets archived, analyzed, used. The risk isn't just sharing a wrong answer on a practice problem.
It's sharing something personal.
Exactly. Personally identifiable information. The rule here is absolute. Never enter personal or sensitive information into a chatbot. Diagnostic scores, probably fine. Your social security number, your family's finances, absolutely not. Be aware of the privacy policies. You are the guardian of your own data.
Okay, so understanding those risks, that potential 45% hallucination rate, the built-in biases, the privacy issues, it makes this final section of Module 1 feel absolutely essential. If the course promises that big score jump,
Yeah, 100, 200 points.
that success has to be built on solid ethics and smart cognitive habits.
It has to be. The course really frames the AI as a tool, right? Not the solution itself. The core philosophy, the thing the student must deeply internalize is, treat AI as a sophisticated thinking partner.
A co-pilot.
A co-pilot, exactly. Not a ghostwriter, not a shortcut to skip the hard work. That distinction, it's everything. It separates someone mastering a tool from someone just cheating themselves.
Okay, guideline 1. Maintain human oversight and critical thinking. This sounds like the practical application of that human-in-the-loop idea.
It is. Your role shifts. You're not just passively receiving answers. Your job is to, quote, actively oversee, critically assess, and interrogate the AI's output.
Interrogate, I like that.
Yeah. The AI does the heavy lifting on calculation and content generation, maybe.
Yeah.
But you are the auditor, the quality control, the pilot who's actually steering.
So how does that look day to day? Give us a concrete example of how critiquing the AI actually makes the student better at the SAT.
Okay, imagine the AI generates a full practice reading section for you. 25 questions, passage, everything.
Okay.
Your job isn't just to answer the questions. It's also to evaluate the AI's work. Are these questions fair? Do they actually test the skill they claim to test? Like, is this truly an inference question or just finding explicit detail? Is the passage itself free of subtle biases or factual errors?
Ah, so the act of judging the AI's questions forces you to understand how real SAT questions are built.
Precisely. You have to internalize the rules of the test just to audit the machine effectively. You start thinking like a test designer, not just a test taker.
That's a much higher level of understanding. The oversight itself becomes a learning exercise.
It's meta-learning. It's a deeper form of mastery, which leads right into Guideline 2, the behavioral rule. Use AI to augment, not replace, learning.
This is where the rubber meets the road, ethically, drawing the line between using the tool well and just becoming dependent. The source gives two really clear examples here, right? Good versus bad.
Yes, let's nail these down. The good use example shows how to use AI for targeted help and scaffolding. The prompt structure is key. Something like, act as my SAT tutor. I bombed this math problem on quadratic equations. Explain the step-by-step process, really focus on the discriminant part, okay? And then give me 5 similar practice problems testing just that concept.
Okay, the key there is asking for the process, the explanation, and then immediately requesting tailored practice.
Yes, you're forcing the AI to teach the why and how, and then you immediately apply that knowledge yourself. That's augmentation.
You get guided to the right starting point, but you still have to do the work on those 5 new problems.
Exactly. That's the crucial part. Now, contrast that with the bad use example,
Which is?
the shortcut trap.
Yeah.
Just pasting a practice problem into the AI and saying, what's the answer?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That completely outsources the thinking.
Yeah.
It robs you of that beneficial struggle, that cognitive effort needed to actually form long-term memories and understanding.
You learn nothing about the method.
Nothing. And you definitely can't replicate it under pressure on test day. It's intellectual abdication. You're basically saying, you think for me?
And abdicating thought definitely doesn't lead to a 100, 200-point score increase.
Not a chance.
Hmm.
Which brings us to the final overarching guideline that ties it all together. Be transparent and accountable.
Transparency, okay. Sometimes that means academic integrity, like maybe noting AI assistance if you used it to generate practice materials for a class or something.
That's the external piece, yeah.
Yeah.
But accountability is more internal. It's the contract you make with yourself. The course sums this up with a personal checklist.
A checklist for responsible use.
Kind of. It forces that continuous loop of responsibility.
Walk us through it. What's on this checklist?
It's pretty straightforward but demanding. First, review all AI outputs for accuracy. That directly tackles the hallucination risk we talked about.
Okay. Check the facts.
Second, disclose use when it's appropriate. Maintain integrity. Third, consider privacy implications. Always. Your data security check.
Right.
And maybe the most vital one, always apply personal judgment. The AI calculates, you judge. It doesn't understand context or nuance like you do.
Because at the end of the day, whether the AI gave you a brilliant explanation or a hallucinated piece of nonsense,
Yeah.
your name is the one on that SAT score report.
You own it. Accountability is the philosophical capstone here. Mastering this first module, really getting the AI is powerful but flawed, biased, and needs constant critical oversight, it's absolutely foundational. Without that ethical and cognitive bedrock, the fancy prompt engineering isn't just useless.
It could actually be harmful, counterproductive.
Exactly. Dangerous to real learning. Hashtag tag out trade.
Okay, that was a fantastic deep dive into that foundational philosophy. Module 1's takeaway seems crystal clear. If you want that huge score game, that AI-powered success, it absolutely has to sit on a solid base of ethics and your own critical thinking.
Yeah, it's not a magic wand.
No, it's about mastering a very sophisticated, potentially tricky tool with the maturity and skepticism it really demands.
It sets the ground rules for being a modern learner, really. Now the student knows about hallucinations, understands why bias is a factor, and gets why just asking for the answer is, well, a total waste of time.
They're ethically and cognitively prepped.
Exactly. Ready to start using the tech smartly.
And with that ethical framework locked in, the course naturally pivots. It moves right into the practical, data-driven stuff. Module 2, diagnostic testing and personalized roadmap.
Yep. Time to start gathering the specific data that's going to fuel the whole personalized study plan out for the next 10 weeks or so.
The foundation's built, the warnings have been issued. Now it's about applying that critical lens to the diagnostic results and building that custom path forward.
Let the targeted practice begin.
So here's the final thought we want to leave you with today. Considering how powerful these AI tools are personalized teaching, instant feedback, how does mastering the ethical use of AI change things long term? Not just your SAT score, but maybe your entire relationship with how you learn, how you acquire knowledge.
Is that kind of critical oversight, that strategic deployment of tools, is that becoming the core skill set for successful learning in the future?
Something to chew on as you apply that critical thinking out there in the world.